Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a pick a card reading for the next 5 to 7 days. Pick a card reading means that you pick the number, pile, card, or object. I'll be placing objects here in a moment that resonates with you. So you use your intuition to do that. And then I have the timestamps down below in the description. You click on that, you meet me at your reading, and I will use my intuition to then tell you what the cards mean. So take what resonates. This is a general reading and it is also timeless. So it means it's appropriate for you when you discover it. So now I'm going to place objects on the cards for group 1. The object is a moon and this is moss agate. So moss agate is just a really cool, very earthy type stone. And it is shaped like a moon. And then we have another moss agate stone here. This one is shaped like a star. So that's for group 2. And finally, for group 3, this is agate. And it is Druzy, because it's got like this open little vein here of crystals. It's also a moon, and it's a carved moon agate, Druzy agate. So there we are. So if you still don't know which pile card number to choose, you can come with me and do a breathing exercise. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And release, and go ahead and just release any negative energy. Just be here in the moment. Set the intention that you are here to hear what you are here to hear what you need to hear. Go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn to, that is the pile for you. So thank you so much, and I'll meet you at your reading. Hello group 1. If you picked this moss agate moon, you are in the right spot. And if you hear some knocking in the background, I have a little woodpecker who is knocking on my house. So that's what that is. So we're going to get an affirmation first. What does group 1 need to know from these affirmation cards for the next week? And we've got joy. To enjoy something, I simply need to add joy to it. Joy is like butter. I can put it on anything and it'll make it way better. Today I will add joy to everything. Really slather it on. Today I'm the Orville Redenbacher of joy, and life's popcorn is about to get it. So I love that. I love the idea that you can add joy to anything. I think that joy is really how you look at things. And any situation can be positive or negative based on, maybe not every situation, but generally speaking, most situations can be positive or negative based on how you look at it. And joy is about bringing that perspective to it and having fun wherever you go. Like, you can make a trip to the grocery store fun if you really try. So let's get out some tarot cards and see what is in store for this next week. I want to get 4 out, so we'll look at that here in a second. These 2 want to come out, so let's see. We've got the 5 of Swords reversed, we've got Death reversed, we've got 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, looks like we are resisting some change here. And then we've got the Lovers. Very interesting. So I was wondering if we were going to get another card reversed, because when I get full reversals, I mean, that tells me something to begin with, but it usually tells me to read the cards upright, and that it's just maybe a timing issue. Maybe the timing isn't right, or things aren't working out correctly, or that you need to add some joy and you're not really looking at it from the right perspective. And I kind of get that from these reversed cards. So 5 of Swords reversed. This is actually better reversed than it is upright. And the reason why is, if you can take a look here, we've got 3 people working together. Usually it depicts like 5 people working together, but for space sake, probably they just put the 3 on here. And we have somebody who is really getting exactly what she wants, probably because she looks like she's bullying the other people and maybe not going quite to the directions. And if you're working in a group of people, you really don't want this kind of reaction to what you're doing. Either if you are right or if you are correct, you should be able to explain the reason why to other people. And if you can't, maybe you're in the wrong spot. Maybe this isn't the job for you. Or you could be really this person over here that's like, oh man, this is not going the way that I want it to. My voice is not being listened to. That's a lot with the 5 of Swords, because Swords is about communication and conveying your values, your ideas, and explaining those. But the 5 of Swords, something's getting mixed up. Either they're not listening, or you're not. Maybe it could be that you're not even trying. And sometimes that's really difficult with a domineering personality. They may not mean to be domineering though, and that is kind of tricky to, they're getting their way, so maybe they're not necessarily seeking out your advice, but you can try. And when we end up with the Lovers, starting off with the 5 of Swords, ending up with the Lovers, I feel like this is a journey this week where you do get your point across and you do feel like you're part of the group or part of a partnership. And it feels good because the Lovers is very, it's definitely about communication. It's related to Gemini, but it is also, of course, about how you feel and about your heart. It's the Lovers, and about working with other people. So whatever it is we have going on in this situation, I feel like, let's go through the cards and get this advice out here, because I feel like it's going to resolve itself, or you're going to be able to step up and with maybe some confidence and make sure that you get your point across. If you are this domineering person, just, maybe check in with the rest of your group, because everybody knows something that you don't know. So even if you have the best idea out there, there may be some bits and pieces here from experience that you don't have that can enhance your idea. And make sure that you're open to that. So we've got Death reversed, and Death card is about change. When it's in reverse, I feel like it is something that you are maybe not comfortable with the change, or maybe you're fighting the change a little bit. Remember with this that as one door closes, another door opens. And if you, again, I feel like if you bring in some confidence, like you can be the one wielding the swords. Again, with the swords, right? We have the 5 of Swords here, and then we have the Death card with a sword, like actively making this decision to cut the rope, to make this change, and to walk through the door over here. So change is difficult, even if it's something that we want, and even if it's something that we bring on. It can invite like a level of chaos. And the 5 of Swords too, there's chaos going on here. So can invite a level of chaos into your life that maybe you didn't think through, or you knew was coming, but you still have to actively deal with it. You can't just let it go. You have to tie up some loose ends. For instance, like if you move, like there is a certain amount of chaos that goes along with that. You have to pack boxes, you have to unpack boxes, you have to you have to change your address at the post office, you have to let people know where you live now. So there's a lot of things that is like not really pleasant when you make that change, but ultimately, usually the Death card is for your best benefit. And the other thing is seasons change. As much as we think we can stop that, or it's something that's been happening for thousands of years. So it's going to, we're going into spring, it's going to go into summer, it's going to go into winter. I mean, I guess it depends on where you live, but there's still like very cyclical things that happen. And so if you know these things, we are in spring, and maybe perhaps you can harness that. So I know we're in spring. What can I do in spring? Oh, well, I can plant a garden, or I can do this, or I can do that. I can go with those seasons. But if I'm in spring and I'm trying to harvest watermelon, that's going to be a problem. But if I know I want to harvest watermelon, well, I can plan ahead and think ahead and do the things that I need to do now, so that when that change comes, I know what it is that I need to do to make that change. Then we've got the Six of Cups reversed. So a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings involved. And I love that, because like the Lovers is kind of the culmination of that, the kind of bringing that together. So I feel like there's a change happening. You're resisting it. It probably has to do with your ideas not being heard, or you're feeling like it's not being heard. Sometimes we try to speak up and we kind of get knocked down, or we think we do, and then we just shut up. And this is not the time to do that. It's the time to let your ideas flow, because that's what Lovers really is. It's about this harmony between you and other people, this harmony between you and your group, your partner, whomever this is. It doesn't have to be on the nose, the Lovers, because like in this instance, I feel like it's more of like people coming together and working together at the same goal, where here it feels like it's just not happening. So Six of Cups relates to the past. It relates to feelings of the past. It relates to things and ideas that we have had in the past, maybe even situations. If we're dealing with other people here, usually this is a very reciprocal relationship. When it's reversed, though, because these people are, it's very calm, it's very happy. Somebody's giving somebody else flowers, or somebody is paying somebody else for flowers. That's great. But when it's in reversed, it kind of feels like something is being shut down, right? It feels like maybe you're opening up past wounds where you didn't feel like you were being heard. And really the advice here is like what Joy is saying is like, hey, take a deep breath. Let's have a little fun with this. Let's make sure that we get our ideas across, because in this whole situation, the end goal is to work together and to be heard and to be seen. And sometimes stepping up like that and saying these things can feel, can be difficult. It can feel intimidating. It can be like we're out of our comfort zone. I see the Lovers as out of their comfort zone a lot, and I see it as kind of like a level up. It's kind of like this card is kind of like feeling a little bit of chaotic. Even the popcorn popping out of here, right? That feels a little bit of chaotic, but the chaos can be a little fun if you get control of it and you use it for your advantage. But the reason I see the Lovers as kind of like a step up of an evolutionary step here is the Lovers is often depicted as Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And what does Eve do there? She takes a bite out of the apple, a bite off of the tree of knowledge. And even though in the Bible it's depicted as like a very kind of difficult time because they get thrown out of the Garden of Eden, what that really is an upgrade in our consciousness. If you think about all of the other animals that inhabit the earth, and humans, we are animals, so we are just basically monkeys doing our best out here. But the difference between us and other animals is we have this consciousness. We understand that there is a tomorrow, or there are consequences to our actions, or that at some point, this is all going to end for us, right? None of us get out of life alive. We get that. Other animals don't get that. They're really living in the moment. Now, there's a beauty to that. That's like in the Garden of Eden. They're really just living in the moment because there is no tomorrow. It's all the same. All of their needs and everything is taken care of. Well, in the moment, if you don't think about tomorrow, it just seems like that, right? Like your dog thinks that all of his needs is going to be taken care of. Bees, maybe not so much. They're just ingrained to do what they do. They just do what they do, and whatever happens, happens, right? But we are the ones who understand that we can plant a garden and then we can have watermelon here in a couple of months. We make sacrifices today for the good of ourselves for tomorrow. And to me, gaining that consciousness, gaining that knowledge helps us. I mean, that's why we drive cars and our dogs are our passengers, the kind of thing. That's why we work together. That's why we're not all doing the same thing for our survival. We're trading our goods and services and our expertise and knowledge. So that's just a long-winded example or explanation of why I think it's, time for you to get a proper perspective out of what's going on that you're feeling chaotic about. Pull it together, because your perspective is really important. It's important to you to be heard, but it's also important to your group, whether they make you feel like it's important or not. You have important ideas, and it feels good to share those. And, it's time to step into your power. It's time to share those. If it really truly is a situation where you aren't being heard, where you aren't being, allowed to express yourself, maybe it is time to move on to a place where you are. Okay. So just a little bit of further advice here for group 1. We get fairy spotting. So it's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact, the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. Oh, very interesting. So it's like you're never going to see a fairy if you don't believe in fairies, kind of thing, or you're never going to see the magic unless you believe in the magic. In this case, I think that really the magic is in yourself. So I feel like it speaks a lot about confidence and the confidence in yourself, especially when we're talking about like this chaotic feeling. It speaks about like the death card here. When I was talking about kind of like stepping up and directing what you're doing rather than allowing the world to direct to you what you need to do. And I think it really speaks to the Lovers here of believing in yourself, and then others will believe in you as well. And then final advice card here. We've got look in a book. There's another deck that has look in a book in it. I just read with it. Whenever I see this, if you're parents and you've seen Super Why, I always sing it the way that they do. It's a cute little program on PBS about finding answers in a book. So whenever you have whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words you find will bring the insight you seek. So very interesting as well. If you aren't necessarily confident, maybe you do need to, it could talk about just taking a time out for yourself and looking in a book and to do kind of a reset, especially if you're feeling a little frustrated. Or with the Lovers here, when I was talking about like an upgrade in your knowledge, you need to look at some resources and find that information. Go look in a book. I know maybe it is time for a trip to the library and a good old-fashioned book to find some information. Usually we can Google it, but you know what is interesting? You might try a different browser too. Like if you're not really getting the answers that you're looking for, try a different browser, because that'll get you just a little bit different results and maybe find you what you're looking for, group 1. So lovely. Thank you so much for being here. I really do hope that you are able to just harness this together and really just move on with joy. I mean, life is too short to not have fun, to not make everything the best experience that it can be. Is it Gem Goddess? She's another tarot reader here on YouTube. One time she was talking about her showers and it's really appropriate here with this fairy deck, because she was talking about her showers and how when she goes in the shower, she imagines that she's taking it like a shower under a waterfall, and like, but just really making it a magical experience, or at least setting that intention that, you know what, this is going to be a really great shower, or setting that intention that when you go to sleep, this is going to be really restful, or setting that intention when you drive to work that this is going to be productive. I'm going to get there. I'm not going to be upset about the other drivers on the road, those kinds of things. So setting intentions are important. And I don't know how we got on that. Oh yeah, joy. Setting intentions. So intend to have fun. Like when I drop my kids off from school, I'm always like, okay guys, let's set the intention to have a great day. And I mean, I'm sure they always tell me they had a great day, but when they come home. So that's proof it works. Thank you, group 1. Thanks for being here. Love you so much. Thanks for sticking with me. And I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 2, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. So this is the moss agate heart. Not heart, it's a moss agate star. Ooh, okay. And I'm getting an affirmation here for you, group 2. And it is, wow, ultimate potential. So I choose to live a life to my fullest potential. I trust that this will draw me towards experiences and people that support my growth and accomplishment. Tuning into this frequency, I know reaches higher heights than I ever thought possible. Knowing that's an option, why would I ever tune into anything else? I'm looking at you, smooth jazz and talk radio. Okay. No hate if you like smooth jazz and talk radio, but because everybody has their own opinion. But still, like, if you can listen to whatever you want, or if you can set intentions for whatever you want, why don't you listen to exactly what you want? Or why don't you go and set the intention for your highest good, right? All right, so let's see what else we got here. Tennis, and I will put these all in order here as soon as I get them out. Okay, so 10 of Swords came flying out. We've got the 4 of Swords reversed. Interesting. The Knight of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Ooh, okay, so 10 of Swords and 4 of Swords reverse tell me that there's something going on in your head, something going on in your mind. It feels like you're wounded and exhausted. And you're like, yes, of course, because if you feel like this 10 of Swords, we have somebody who has stabbed you in the back. This can talk about gossip, can talk about somebody who you thought was a friend and they kind of just left you for dead. Or it can even, I want to say, even talk about yourself in a way because you're talking yourself down. One thing that I love about the 10 of Swords, though, even though you're like laying on the ground here with these 10 of Swords sticking out of your back, is that you are stronger than you know. I'll also show you the 4 of Swords because these two are really come together here. The 4 of Swords upright is really about taking a break, taking a nap, taking this moment to rest and relax. When we have it in reverse, it is saying that that is not happening. It's saying that your mind might be running wild. That's why I'm kind of saying, like, you may have, intrusive thoughts, imposter syndrome, something like that, where you're saying really negative things to yourself. That's why usually the 10 of Swords is externally from somebody else. The thing is somebody else could have gotten the ball rolling and you could believe them. One thing about anybody who describes you, good or bad, or it kind of reminds me of this woman who was lifting weights and she was working on her arms and somebody made a comment about manly arms. And she stopped working her arms for like 2 years after that comment. And then she decided that she didn't have manly arms. She wanted strong looking arms, and that she was doing the right thing. And she allowed that one person to like basically steal 2 years from her. I mean, she was doing other things and it wasn't that big of a deal. But the thing is when somebody gives you their thoughts on something, that's exactly that. It's their thoughts on something. You don't have to take it as true. And it reflects their reality or their experience or what they think. You can disagree with them. You absolutely can. You don't have to let things that they say then impact what you think and be toxic to your mind. I too need to shut out distractions, but I was gonna say with this giraffe, like this giraffe is putting the headphones on, right? He's tuning in exactly to what he wants to tune into. Like there are all of these other rainbows here, and that's okay. Like everybody can have their own opinion. It's nice when everybody agrees with you, but at the same time, it would be really boring if everybody agreed with you. So I just feel like this is great. Even though it doesn't feel great, but I feel like you're already in it. So it's great because 10 is a number, well, 9 is a number of completion. 10 is kind of a number, I feel like, conclusion. We're moving on, we're on to the next thing here. And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles and the High Priestess reversed over here. We are just talking about a week time frame here, right? The next 5 to 10 days, really. And when we're coming from this kind of negativity over here, of course, when we move forward, we're going to have some doubts. And I feel like that's what the High Priestess is talking about here. Because at her core, the High Priestess is all about really self-belief. Because she is all about following your intuition. And to do that, you really need to cut out the clutter and the chatter in your mind, and you really need to tune into your heart. You need to tune into your gut. You need to tune into what's right for you. That can be difficult. And I think that's why she's in reverse. And especially when we go from over here to trying to get into our intuition, to trying to now start asking when somebody gives their opinion on something. Stop right there and ask, well, wait a second. What is it that makes them think that? Is that true for me or is that not true for me? And start moving on from there. The Knight of Pentacles is talking about moving on, which is great because we're moving on, we're shifting things, we're making ourselves feel better, and we're really getting in touch with our own values, with what is really important to us. The Knight of Pentacles reminds us that slow and steady wins the race. We are really putting down like a thick and solid foundation here. So if you feel like things are not moving as quickly as they should be, that's okay. All progress is good progress. And the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who moves forward. He really kind of trusts in what he does. It's really perfect for this time of year too, if you're watching this video when I upload it, because the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who is out there plowing the fields. He's the one who is looking forward to like kind of feed his whole entire village. Now, to do that, you have to have some sort of dedication. You have to have some sort of vision. You have to have some sort of goal. So it is really kind of a time to think about those things. It's a time to start getting back in touch with your values and what you want to do and how you want to move forward. And maybe you're not going to move on your goal that much. But remember, you have the ultimate potential. Let's set our intentions for that. Let's set, let's, I also think I love the giraffe because I also think giraffes have like, kind of like a higher perspective. They see the world in a much different way than the rest of us do. They're so much taller. You can look at a higher perspective of things and look at things from a different way, because a lot of times we get stuck down here at the bottom here feeling trampled. And it's time to let this go, take a little bit of a break, take a breather, get back in touch with yourself, maybe look at a problem from different perspectives, and then figure out how to move forward. And also the Knight of Pentacles really reminds me of a running back. So in my football analogy here, if you follow football, a running back, a lot of times they'll say that they get they average 3 yards per carry. That doesn't seem like a lot, right? 3 yards, you have to go 10 yards from the first down to get a new set of downs. You have to go 10 yards. But the thing is you get 4 downs. So 3 yards per carry, that gives you 12 yards total. That still means you're moving forward. The other thing with running backs is they always have their feet moving, and sometimes they get stopped, and that's okay. But sometimes it's just magic when they seem like they're in the middle of that, the line, and then all of a sudden this hole opens up and they just run it down the field for a touchdown. You never know when you're going to break out for a touchdown, especially when you keep moving, when you keep your feet moving and you believe in yourself. You can definitely do that. So, done with football analogies for now. Let's see what else we have for this week. What else do we have for group 2 this week? Our stars. Okay. Feel this one wants to come out. Temptation. Are you in denial about an unhealthy habit? Perhaps one that makes you feel guilty. Interesting, because this can be feelings of guilt. This fairy says you have the power to overcome temptation, whatever its guise. So temptation can be in the form of maybe talking to somebody who's really toxic, and you just want to talk to them, and it maybe feels good in the moment to talk to them, but then when you do, they kind of make you feel bad about yourself for whatever reason. You have the power to cut that off if you want. It can be you are really have an addiction to something like caffeine, soda. It could be, there's harder addictions out there, of course, but I don't think I have a huge following amongst meth heads. So if I do, great. I'm glad you're here. Let's make things better. But if not, it could really just be something as simple as chocolate or ice cream, or just these tiny little things that are just not maybe for your best good. And you can, moderation is great. You can have those things. It's not that you can't, but do you need them every day? Do you need caffeine every day? Sometimes I do. So, but is it something that you can cut down on? Is it something that's maybe holding you back? Because a lot of times these temptations, they make us, or these addictions kind of make us rethink what we're doing. And for me, I had an addiction to this like online game, but I was canceling like plans in the real world to play this stupid game, and that's a problem. So I will throw that out there, that can be a thing too. Magical blessings, whatever you're going through, you're being assisted by magical fairy blessings. The fairies say you can bless others too. I love that, because I feel like a lot of times the best way to feel blessed is to help others. But I also love this idea, because a lot of times, especially in this 10 of Swords and this 4 of Swords energy, if we do kind of feel alone. And even the High Priestess, because she's delving into herself, and she's delving into what she thinks and how she feels and her intuition, right? This is very individualized. These do kind of feel pretty lonely. The Knight of Pentacles, though, like I was explaining, like he's doing things for others and that makes him feel good. But then there's also this idea that you can share with others and maybe bounce ideas off of them. And that actually helps us kind of navigate what we truly feel. But it needs to be a person that is not stabbing you in the back over here. It needs to be somebody who feels safe to you and who's going to give you a proper perspective on things. Sometimes that might be a person that you have to hire. Maybe that's a therapist. Sometimes that can just be a complete stranger because they're not wrapped up in who they think you are, or, they went to high school with you and they have this idea of you, and you know what I mean? There's not any preconceived notions of who you are, or what they think you are, or what they think you should do. They just let you talk. There's actually some really great Facebook groups that I'm in where people will just say, you know what, I'm going through a really hard time right now. What do you guys think? And then there'll be tons of people who are like, hey, if you need to talk, send me a direct message. We can talk. If you need somebody to, so there is places out there. There is help out there. I would just say be discerning with it. Like I said, you don't want it to be somebody who has this maybe jealousy of you that is already kind of creating maybe this negativity. Oh, I just realized here with the temptation kind of over this, and I said this was gossip. Gossip in and of itself can be very tempting to delve into, but you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So a lot of times if you're willing to gossip about others, others are willing to gossip about you too. So I just felt like I needed to throw that out there. But it's really time to get your priorities straight. Really think through about what you want to do, your goals, that kind of thing. And I'm taking a deep breath out because I'm really just releasing this negative energy, because that's what you need to do. Group 2 is release some negative energy and start moving forward for your highest good. So love you, Group 2. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 3, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. If you chose the Druzy moon, you are in the right spot. So let's take a look at your next week. So the first thing we're going to pull is an affirmation card for Group 3, and we have nature. It's really interesting because I wanted to really do the moss agate and put the plants in here, because if you're watching this video when I first upload we're during Aries season, and really the antidote to craziness of any Aries season or to fire energy is nature. It is earth energy. It is being grounded. So it's interesting that this is coming up. It's time to unleash your inner hippie and step outside of the man-made box, take a walk in the woods, smell those flowers, hug some trees. You might think you're being ironic, like, look at me, I'm being being all tree huggy and stuff. But you'll find that even then, those trees will hug you back. Trees come from a time before irony, and their earnestness is impervious to our jaded humor. If that doesn't make you want to hug them even more, well, I guess you're a robot. But it's definitely something to work on, to do, to get grounded. If you're feeling maybe a little chaotic, and some of the astrology can seem kind of chaotic right now. That's why I plan on just hanging out at home as much as possible. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right, we're gonna get 2 more cards. Yeah. What else do we have here? Okay. And 1 more card. Okay, So whatever you are doing, it's not over, and you might feel maybe a little bit defeated in what you're doing, but it's kind of time to regroup, and maybe you need to regroup, like taking a time out with the nature card, like it's suggested here. But the reason I'm saying things are not over yet is because we have the world and we have the world reversed, and that's kind of what we end up with. I kind of want to start with that because it feels like you've been fighting some sort of battle here. And when we start with the Four of Cups, it almost has an idea of feeling defeated. But I don't think you're defeated. I just think that it is a little bit of time to regroup and maybe go out, come at it from a different direction to really kind of get the world. Now I'm just looking at this from a week time frame. It feels like this is going to take maybe a little bit longer than a week to complete, but the world card is very beautiful. It's the end of the major arcana, and upright, it represents like the end of a cycle, the end of something, but from a very accomplished position, from you getting what you want. Well, it's kind of like here a vacation where she's sitting on the beach and just really enjoying having her toes in the water and sitting on the sand. Now, I don't know, it's kind of windy, so maybe it's not that enjoyable. But when it's reversed, it's not time to really celebrate yet. Even the okay. And then we've got the Six of Swords here reversed. We've got the air moving through here is about moving on, going to a better place. But when we have it reversed, it's kind of like a, hey, we're gonna look at this from a new perspective and sit here maybe and fight for this. A lot of swords energy this week for other groups as well. So I feel like thoughts and communications could be mixed up. I don't believe we're in a Mercury retrograde, but if you're watching this later on, check where Mercury is, check if we're in a retrograde, because things can get confused a little bit when that is occurring. I mean, it can happen anytime, but it's especially difficult communication wise, and people misinterpreting what you're saying, or you misinterpreting what somebody else is saying during that time. And it kind of has that feeling here of you not really being heard. But I feel like the Knight of Swords is gonna, again, approach it it feels like a regroup here and approach it head on from a new perspective or a different direction. So Four of Cups. Cups is about emotions. Cups is about our intuition. Cups is feeling fulfilled and how we feel about things. The Four of Cups, I often feel like it's the meh card. I feel like you're looking at a problem and maybe you're too close to it. There is like new answers coming in here, but you're still focusing kind of on the glass is half empty vibe. And these glasses might be half empty. It's almost like you have a problem that you're looking at here, and you're not even really realizing that the solution is coming in for you, because it is really almost a magical card, because even though you're not feeling it, like the solution is like literally being handed to you on a silver platter. It's like, okay, these cups are empty. Well, have you tried this one though? So it is about approaching our conflicts or issues or obstacles. But it's almost like you're just sitting there, not really happy, and the universe is like, but hey, look up, look around, we've got this going on here. Now, a lot of times the Six of Swords, like if you are in a position where, or you are in a frame of thought where you're like not happy with where you are, then it would be, yeah, let's get up and leave. But the Six of Swords is saying, when it comes in reverse, that no, it's not time to leave yet. Let's really look at the solution that's coming in and give it a shot. Because I think if you believe in it and you stand your ground, you don't have to leave. You can make it work. There's a way to make it work. And what's coming in for me is maybe sleep on it. Whenever I have an issue and I'm just like, okay, I really, really don't know what to do about this, but I'm just gonna sleep on it. And I set that intention for when I wake up that I'll have the solution. Because the Knight of Swords over here feels really regenerated to me, right? And he is ready to move. He's ready to go. He's charging ahead. He's actually very fast moving energy. But the only bad thing I would say about the Knight of Swords is he needs to have a purpose and he needs to know where he's going. Otherwise, he can just end up way off track. So that's why I feel like we've got the Six of Swords here reversed, because it's kind of like, okay, let's think about this for a minute. Let's look at the solution coming in. Let's make sure that that aligns with our goals and where we want to go, and then charge forward. And it's also kind of a way to get your enthusiasm back a little bit, because there's definitely a big change in the energy over here from the Four of Cups that's almost feeling defeated to the Knight of Swords over here, who is like, yes, I'm going to charge forward. I'm going to do this. We're going to go and get it done. And then the World, like I explained before, is it's not time to throw in the towel yet. It's time to continue on your path. This isn't over. I mean, if this is talking about a relationship, you just need to, because the swords here can talk about communication. It's time to bring those things up, that communication up. It's time to let your feelings be known to other people. This isn't over yet. It could also be a job situation. You need to let people know how you feel and where you stand. So the first of the final cards that I'm pulling today that came out is Celebration. Get ready to let your hair down and celebrate. It's time to go out and dance and play. An invitation could be on the way. So that's very interesting, because this is not a very celebratory feeling. But, these two can be, to go and celebrate and go and have a good time and have some fun with friends and family. It can definitely help you lift you kind of out of this funk. And then Pure Intention, the Fairy of Manifestation, will help you to use your wishes wisely. Manifest your heart's desire with your pure intention for the highest good of all. So I love that. What's really interesting is there's a lot of people. So we talk about manifestation and we talk about what we want and getting what we want. And there's a lot of people who really see kind of money or wealth as not being the highest good for all. So I find that interesting that this comes up here, because I kind of tend to disagree with that. And I guess it depends on how you make your money. Of course, if you are one of those people who call about car warranties and you get somebody's grandma to send you a bunch of money, of course, that's not for everyone's highest good. But if you have like a talent and a skill and you go out and make money off of that, money is just an exchange of energy. And honestly, you should be rewarded for your skills. You should, and I think that there's a lot of people who have skills and they love doing what they love so much that they're willing to give it away for free. That's great, but there are people willing to pay you for that as well. And maybe your skill, because I had a really talented friend who did acupuncture, for instance, and it was so cheap to get acupuncture from her, but she was so good. I used to tip her basically as much as she would charge me for the service, and she would always tell me it's too much, and I always told her she didn't charge enough. And it's one thing because she really wanted to help people, and what she did really helped people. But I was also so very grateful, and I could afford to do that. So there's nothing wrong with having a sliding scale too, where if you meet somebody who really, in that moment, they can't pay you, that you can do your services for less. And, you know, somebody who can pay you, don't feel guilty about paying for more, because it actually made me feel good that I was able to tip her that much, because it was a really benefit to me. She was really, really good at what she did. She moved to Oregon. I would almost fly to, if I could, I would fly to Oregon and have her do acupuncture. I'm sure there's people in my community, but I'm just saying that don't feel bad for somebody. It's an exchange of energy. It's an appreciation of what you do. And if somebody is able to appreciate you in that way, allow it, let them do that. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, and maybe reframing your solution and gives you an idea of where to move forward. And what I do love about the nature card coming out is if you are kind of stuck in this mentality and you're just not seeing anything positive coming in, it may be time to just shut it down and go out in nature and take a walk and just have like a really good time and feel really uplifted. And it's amazing how many times that you are doing something or have a celebration, right? Even if there's nothing to celebrate, why not, right? But get your mind off of the problem, and then it's crazy how good your subconscious mind is at these things, and it will come in and give you you'll get an epiphany is what it's called, just like bam, this moment, and it'll tell you what you need to do and where you need to go with it. So love you, group 3. Hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next reading.